Hello and welcome student. Today we are going to learn a lesson from standard 6 subject English unit 3 3.5 The Merchant of Venice part 1. This lesson was written by William Shakespeare. So, before proceeding to our lesson, that is play, let's see a brief introduction of our author, that is William Shakespeare. Student, on your screen you can see the image of our author William Shakespeare, who is well known for his poem, play, drama, etc. So, let's see a brief introduction of him. He was born on 26th April 1564 in England and died on 23rd April 1616 in England. He was an English poet, playwright, and actor, widely regarded as both the greatest writer in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and a bard of Avon. His extant work, including collaborations, consists of approximately 39 plays, 154 sonnets, two long narrative poems, and few other verses. His plays have been translated into every major language and are performed more often than those of any playwright. His famous plays such as Hamlet, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Othello, etc. are very famous. Student, if you get time, just read the play written by our author William Shakespeare. Student, on your screen you can see our characters of the play The Merchant of Venice. So, first, Shylock, a Jew moneylender; Portia, beautiful and renowned only daughter who lived in Belmont; Bassanio, a handsome, well-mannered, and a best friend of Antonio. Antonio, he was a merchant of Venice who was loved by all the people in Venice and a best friend of Bassanio. Duke, a male holding the highest place in Venice. So, let's begin our play. Introduction. The Merchant of Venice is a tragic comedy by William Shakespeare, believed to have been written between 1596 and 1598, though classified as a comedy in the first volume and sharing certain aspects with Shakespeare's other romantic comedies. The play is perhaps most remembered for its dramatic scenes and is best known for Shylock and a famous hath not a Jew eyes speech. Also notable is Portia's speech about the quality of mercy. Student, let's have a brief introduction of the city of Venice. Venice is a city in Italy. It is the capital of Veneto region, which is in the northeast of the country. Venice is built on 118 small islands that are separated by 150 canals. People cross the canals by many small bridges. They can also navigate across the city on boat, both rowing boats and motor boats. The most famous Venetian type of boat called a gondolas. The, the building in Venice are very old and attractive, and tourists come from all over the world to see them and the canals. This has made Venice one of the most famous cities in the world. Venice slowly grew to become an important commercial city. Venice has incredible craft, culture, and traditions. Shopping for handmade goods such as marks, merino, glass jewels, etc. These days, however, mass tourism led Venice to be invaded by many shops selling low quality souvenirs. So, student, this is all about the city of Venice. You can see the map and the city of Venice on your screen. Let's begin our play, The Merchant of Venice. Antonio was a merchant who lived in Venice, a prosperous city in Italy. In those days, that is about 500 years ago, sea voyages were dangerous, and yet some adventurous merchants traveled across the sea. Some others spent a lot of money in sending ships to faraway countries. These ships brought back species, spices, and other treasures from India and other countries. The merchants sold these things in Europe. They made a lot of profit in this business. New words, species, spices, and aromatic or pungent vegetables, substance used to flavor food. Prosperous, successful in material terms, flourishing financially. Adventurous, an unusual and exciting or daring experience. Merchants, a person or company involved in wholesale trade. Treasures, a quantity of precious metal, gems, or other valuable objects. On your screen, you can see the image of our hero Antonio. Let's do the explanation part. Antonio was a merchant who lived in Venice, a prosperous city in Italy. Most of the merchants spent their lots of money in sending ship for business. Antonio also did the same thing. He also spent all his money in sending the ship to faraway countries. All the ships brought in return many species and also treasures from India and other countries. The merchants sell all these valuable things in Europe and make more money, and in this business the merchant gain a lot of profit. At the time when the story began, Antonio was waiting for his ship to return with merchandise. He had put almost all his money in the ship. Antonio was a kind man. He had many friends, but his best friend was Bassanio. Bassanio was a young and handsome noble man, but unfortunately he had no money. Bassanio wanted to marry Portia. New words, merchandise, goods to be bought and sold. Kind, here it means character or nature. Unfortunately, here it means sadly. Let's see the explanation part. Antonio was desperately waiting for his ship to return with merchandise because he had put almost all his saving in the ship for business. He has only one friend, that was Bassanio. Bassanio was a young and handsome, but unfortunately he had no money. Bassanio wanted to marry Portia, but going to Belmont he had no money. You can see the image of our second hero, Bassanio, on the screen. Bassanio wanted to marry Portia. Portia was beautiful and intelligent. She was the only daughter of a very wealthy man. Her father had died, leaving her a large estate. In his will, Portia's father had written how Portia's husband should be selected. He had set a test for her suitors. They had to choose between three cassettes, one of gold, one of silver, and one of lead. You can see the image of our, you can say, heroine Portia. New word, wealthy, have a great deal of money, resources, or assist rich. State, estate here usually with a large house owned by one person. Cassette, a small ornament box. You can see the image on our screen. Let's do the explanation part of this. Bassanio wanted to marry Portia. Portia was beautiful and intelligent young lady. Her father had left for her a large estate, but he made a will before his death. Her, her father has written how Portia husband should be selected in his will. The bridegroom who would come, he had to choose one of the casket among the three which was placed. The three caskets were gold, silver, and lead. Each casket had something written on it. On the gold casket, it was written, "Whoever chooses me shall gain what many men desire." On the silver casket, "Whoever chooses me shall get as much as he deserves." On the casket of lead, "Whoever chooses me must give an hazard all he has." New words: hazard, a danger or risk. Lead, here it means a type of metal. So student, on your screen you can see the image of three cassette means boxes, and below that note is written. So below gold cassette it was written that whoever chooses me, he shall gain what many men desire. And on the silver it was written, whoever chooses me get as much as he deserves. And the third, which was made by lead, on it was written that whoever chooses me must give and hazard all he has. So all this was written by Portia father before dying to choose the Portia husband. One of Portia's suitors was the Prince of Morocco. He chose the gold casket, but when he opened the casket, the message inside said that it was not the right casket. All that glitter is not gold. Another suitor, the Prince of Aragon, chose the silver casket, but that too was not the right casket. New word: suitor, a man who pursues a relationship with a particular woman with a view to marriage. Let's see the explanation part of this para. There were three cassettes, and on each cassette it was mentioned about it to choose the correct husband of for Portia. So one of the prince from Morocco, he chose the golden cassette, but when he opened the cassette, inside it was mentioned not the correct, and it was written that all that glitter is not gold. Another suitor, prince from Aragon, he too chose silver cassette, but it was not correct one, and when he opened, it was written what was on a golden cassette. Let's do the evaluation part of our lesson, The Merchant of Venice, Part 1. Question number 1. Write true or false. First, the merchant ships brought spices and other treasure from India and other countries to Italy. True. Antonio had gone on a long voyage. Answer false. Bassanio was very rich. Answer false. Portia had many brothers and sisters. Answer false. Portia's suitor chose the gold and silver cassettes. Answer true. Question number 2. Answer in one sentence. 1. Where did Antonio live? Answer. Antonio lived in Venice, a prosperous city in Italy. Who was Bassanio? Bassanio was a young and handsome nobleman, but unfortunately he had no money. What had the suitor of Portia to choose between? Answer. Portia's suitor had to choose between three cassettes which was made from gold, silver and lead. What was written on the gold cassette? On gold cassette it was written, "Whoever chooses me shall gain what men desire." What was written on silver cassette? On silver cassette it was written, "Whoever chooses me shall get as much as he deserves." When was the sea voyage dangerous? Answer. Sea voyages were dangerous about 500 years ago. Answer in brief. What did the ship of adventurous merchants bring back? Answer. The ships of adventurous merchants brought back spices and other treasures from India and other countries. Second, what made the merchant rich? The merchant sold the merchandise brought back from other countries in Europe and made a lot of profit, and it made them rich. What was Antonio waiting for? Why? Antonio was waiting for his ships to return with merchandise. He was waiting for his ships because he had almost put all his money in the ships, means in business. Grammar. Give the antonyms of dangerous, harmless, kind, unkind. Second, write the separate words that are combined to make the following words: far away, far plus away. Nobleman, noble plus man. Whoever, who plus ever. Moneylender, money lender. Sometimes, sometimes. Thank you, student.